Greetings! I am Richard, this is Grasscat Tutorials, and we're continuing on with my basic RPG Maker tutorial sequence, the quest to open a box. So, previously, the things that we have accomplished, we have created 3 maps. We have an overworld, an inn, and a tower. And we have set up transitions. So here on the overworld, I have a transition to the tower and a transition to the inn. And then if I look inside the inn, I have a transition back to the outside world, and the tower has a transition to the outside world as well. We've also set up a couple of other events. We have the box in the tower set up and able to be opened. And inside of the inn, we have an NPC that acts as our quest giver, so to speak, that tells us about the existence of the box. And because it's contractually obligated in a JRPG, I have an innkeeper. Now, I know we don't have a sewer level, but I'm hoping this project is small enough that we avoid too much regulatory scrutiny. We should be okay. And we have also set up our starting position to be inside the inn. And everything is playable. If we can play through this, go to the outside, go to the tower, open the box, get our reward. But at this point, nothing else happens. When we open this box, the game does not acknowledge it. As far as the game world is concerned, we didn't really do anything. The only acknowledgement that we get is the box stays open. Our NPC back over here in the inn is not going to recognize that we opened the box. So we might as well not have done it. So we need to get things modified so that when we come into this tower and we open this box and we go back to talk to that NPC, our action gets recognized. This is very important that the player feels like their actions have impact. So let's take a look at the events for the treasure here. Now, as we've already seen, the treasure chest uses Control Self Switch A in order to determine whether or not it is in the closed state or it is in the open state. Now, the problem with this is the self switches are only visible within that specific event. Only this event can see this specific switch A. Every event has its own unique switch A. There is no way to look at a different event's switch A. So we need to do something different here. We need to use the global switches, the switches that every game object can see. So what we're going to do is on the line where it says Control Self Switch A, I'm going to double click to insert above this another action. That's going to bring up my event commands window, and I am going to select the Control Switches option. Make sure you are selecting Control Switches and not Control Self Switch. We do not want that one. We want the top one. It's going to then open up this window where we're able to choose the switch that we are going to set or the switches that we are going to set. We can also set a range and then determine whether we're going to turn this switch on or off. Remember, by default, all switches start in the off state. Now, if I wanted to choose a switch besides switch 1, I can click on this button right here, and it will bring up the switch selector. By default, RPG Maker has 20 switches defined. We can change the maximum, and we can declare up to, and please don't actually do this, but we can declare up to 9,999 switches. You'll notice that's kind of a common occurrence in the maximum number that we can put in for things. It is beyond my ability to comprehend why you would need more than 10,000 true or false variables. I really cannot think of a reason why you would need that many. The default value of 20 obviously is more than enough for our purposes because we're going to use, well, 1. The main reason why we do want to come to this window is we can give our switch a name. This is a very good idea to do this because when you are looking at things, and I clicked OK and I'm going to click OK again here, when I'm looking at my event contents here, control switch 1, open box equals on, that tells me what this is doing. If it's setting switch 7 to on, okay, well, was that the correct switch? Is switch 7 really the one that I want? Or is switch 7 controlling something else? Now, was it a mistake? Did I slip with the mouse or something? By having the name here, I can see clearly that, oh, yeah, that's the event that I meant to use. So now we have set a global switch. We can go back to our NPC. There's nothing else that we need to do with our box here because we can still set the self switch A. Nothing says that you can only set one switch in any given event page. You can set as many switches as you want. So the self switch A being set to on and using that to control the box being open, that still works just fine. So there's no need for us to change that. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to go back to the in. And then I'm going to double click on my quest giver to open up this event sequence here. Now what I can do is I'm going to do a couple of things here. I want the quest giver to acknowledge that we have talked to them, but we haven't opened the box yet. And I want them to acknowledge when they've opened the box. So what I'm going to do for the acknowledging that we've talked to them is I'm going to set a self switch. Nobody else needs to know about the fact that we've talked to the NPC, so we can just use a self switch here. So on this last line here, I'm going to double click. I'm going to use control self switch this time. And I'm going to set switch A to on. It doesn't matter, honestly, which of the 4 switches you use here, but it's kind of traditional to start with A and go from there. Next, I'm going to add in a new event page because now our NPC is in a different state. So I'm going to add in an event page and I'm going to set the self switch to A, and then I'm going to insert in a new message. Now, I don't want to have to reselect, the NPC's name and image and everything else like that. So I'm going to go back to page 1. I am going to select the text display that we already have set up. I'm going to right-click copy, or I could do a Control-C. I'm going to go back to page 2, and then I'm going to paste that in. Right-click, paste. Now I can right-click edit on it and just simply change the text. And I already have the name and I already have the face in place. It doesn't have to be much. I just want a little acknowledgement that, they've talked to us and we're not constantly getting the same message. Oh, I hear there's a box in the tower over and over and over again. And we can test this real quick. So, oops, wrong OK. So click OK there. Click OK there. And if you have spotted the error, good job. But let's test this real quick and see what mistake we just made. So I'm going to hit the play button. Ye old standard warning of watch out for potential volume blasting. Yes, I do want to save changes. Hurry up and wait for this to build. There we go. Start a new game. All right, let's talk to them. So first time I talk to them, I should get my message. So, assuming my hand's actually on the right keys here. Box in the tower, should go and open it. Great, awesome. Hello? NPC? Where'd you go? Oh, you're still there. Okay. Odd. All right, so what happened here? If we open up our NPC event here, and we go to page 2, a couple of things changed. One, the priority changed to below characters. That's not what we want. We want the priority to be the same as the characters. The other thing is the image got reset. So I have to double click on the image and reset the image. Now, depending on how complex this setup is here, it might be worthwhile to copy the event page and then paste it. Do not do this next step. I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. Notice if I click on copy event page, nothing happens. I haven't, it just copies it into memory. But then if I paste event page, notice that my page 3 now has the image set and has the priority set. I don't need that page, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that out. I normally don't bother with doing that. About the only scenario that I would actually bother with copying the event page like that is if under the autonomous movement section, I have set up a complex route that the NPC still needs to follow. Yeah, I would want to copy that over. But just keep that in mind. Anytime that you create a new event page, everything is going to be set back to default. So pay attention to that. And then with that change, okay, now that I've had a bug and I have fixed the bug, I want to verify that the bug is fixed. So I'm going to apply it, okay, save, and run. Talk to, yep, okay, got the message. NPC has not disappeared. No rush, the tower is dangerous after all. I can't walk through. Great, excellent, bug is fixed. Test frequently, test often. Because remember, the sooner you find a defect in your game, the easier it is going to be to fix that defect. All right. Now let's have the quest giver acknowledge the fact that we opened the box. Now, so we are going to have to add in a new page. So new event page, and I'm going to set up the image and the priority back to the same as character. Now, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have the NPC, and this one I do like copying because I don't like having to redo that one. We're going to have the NPC acknowledge that we opened the box. So oops. There we go. I see you opened the box. Good job. Now we want to end the game. We have completed the quest. This is the quest to open a box, and we've opened the box and been acknowledged for our grand achievement. So let's add in a couple of additional events. Now, unfortunately, there is no automatic you win screen. If we open up our list of commands here, and we go over to scene control, we have the ability to display a game over, but the game over screen is the you lose screen, basically. It's got the sad music. It's what's shown when you die or get defeated in battle. So that's not really what we want. So instead, what we're going to do is be very annoyed at Steam for flashing that up. We're also going to set up just a few little quick transitions here. So what I'm going to do is we are going to fade out the screen. We saw that with the innkeeper, right? So we're going to fade the screen out to black. And then we are going to show text. We're not going to put a face to it this time. We're just going to give the player a simple message. You have completed the quest. You will now be returned to the main menu. And then we will do precisely that. We will open this up. Go to tab 3 where we have our scene control commands. And we shall return to the title screen. And there we go. Now the game is going to acknowledge that we won. So let's do a quick little test. Save. Run. Talk to the NPC. And realize that I unintentionally put a mistake in. I know exactly what I forgot to do. But since I have, and this is one of the reasons why I do all of my videos in one singular take, because you're gonna make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's gonna happen. The key thing is that you're testing so that way you know where the mistake might be. So we know that we're working on the quest giver. So let's open them back up. And it activated tab 3 instantly. All right, well, why did it, again, remember how pages work, I should say, is that it always checks the highest numbered page and checks to see if its conditions are true. And if that is so, we make that the active page. Do you see the problem? We have no conditions. Therefore, page 3 will be active. Therefore, as soon as we talk to our NPC, the game ends. We forgot to turn on the condition that switch 1 open box has to be on for this page to be active. Now that we have done that, we can go back and test. This is also why you don't skip steps in testing. I want to test everything. And yeah, as your game gets longer, it's like if you've got a 60-hour epic, testing everything does become a little bit more of a problem, yes. But if you've got good testing discipline as you're developing it, it should be less of a problem. And there we go. No rush. The tower is dangerous after all. It just keeps repeating that. So let's take a quick little jaunt over to the tower and utterly fail in navigation. And holding down the shift key so I can zoom my way through. All right, 50 gold has been found. So you open the box, good job. Fade to black, you've completed the quest. You'll now be returned to the main menu. Success. Our quest to open a box is done. Or is it? Because we are missing something here. Let's see, what is it? What we're missing? Oh yeah, challenge. There's no battles. There's no fights. There's no challenge in reaching the box. So reaching the box really doesn't mean anything. And so that is what we're going to take a look at in the next video. How can we go through and set up some random encounters and set it up so that we have a boss fight when we open up the box? Well, if you have enjoyed this video and you've learned something, a thumbs up would be appreciated. And if not, well, the thumbs down button is right next to it. Until next time.